How do you take an individual just starting in manufacturing with limited experience and step them up to the level of these gentlemen?
Well, so I can speak from experience because that's what we did here. It's all about training, job shadowing, and sending out for more training. So, with Adam, he was really good with his hands and being able to take things apart. And he went through every division and he learned that way. But then when it came time to finesse him, we did send him out for HR training. We sent him out for kind of like the bigger echelon X and Y spindle that we did at TMA. And so it's about giving people the opportunity to go through those stages. And yes, it's all about throughput now, and everything is demand, need now. But, as employers, we also have to be very cognizant about kind of curating these experiences and saying like, okay, we might not get all of this done today, but it's about learning. So when I like Cruz out there, who is 18 and he came to me just part-time, now he's full-time. I see his hours kind of spike and I see productivity going down, but he's learning, right? And we all have to be very good about learning that and understanding that. And with Alex, it was the same thing. We put him on the gear hopper. He learned from Adam. Adam was the one that was showing him the ropes and shadowing and making sure that he understood that. Once he was ready for that, we moved him up. And then through that course, now that he's in the position that he is, because there was a job opening that came about. And I said, you know what, Alex, you're so good at programming. I think you're a little bit slow for machining, but I think you're going to be really good at this. And honestly, he is. He went all of the SolidWorks from beginner, intermediate, advanced, and assembly. And he did this in 8 weeks, all of them? He took all the courses right away because he was so excited and loved it and didn't want to stop. And now he's so insanely proficient at it that it's just the sky's the limit for him. So I think it's about kind of starting slow and letting your team member kind of tell you and watch and observe. I'm a big observer. And I think that's how you start someone slow and you just keep building and building and building and not really worrying about the throughput so much, because your other team members that have been here for so long can keep pushing and hustling on that end. But you also have to be really good about nurturing the new talent and not scaring them off.
Can I jump in there a little bit?
Yeah.
So when we have new people come on, what we know is this sounds obvious, right? They're making less than the seasoned people. So it's not expected for them to be able to put out the same amount of work in the same time frame.
Yeah.
They can take double the time sometimes, and they're still just as valuable and just as profitable for the company. So it's up to the ownership and the leadership to look at that person and say, hey, how do we bring you along so that you can get to where you need to be? Not rush it and expect more, because then what's going to happen? That new person is going to make a mistake because they think they have to live to some standard that some other person's been doing for 30 years.
Right.
They're going to make mistakes. They're not going to know how to explain that. And it's going to put it in a bad situation. So as leadership, it's our job to come alongside that person and say, hey, we noticed this in you. Is something that we think that you would be good at. Are you interested? Right. That's the first thing, is interest and curiosity.
Yeah.
If they say yes, they're not going to be automatically amazing at it. It's going to take time, and it's on us to train them and bring them along and make sure that all those opportunities are available. Yeah. But it also takes that individual to come to you, to come to myself, to come to Adam and say,
right,
hey,
you have to communicate.
I'm ready for the next step.
Yes.
Have the courage to talk to the ownership and say, I'm ready for that next step. Will you take a chance on me? This is what my interests are. This is what my passions are. If you just keep to yourself and expect to get noticed, sometimes what happens is, everybody's busy and we think, Phil is happy doing what Phil is doing. So we're going to let Phil keep doing what Phil's doing.
Right.
But if Phil comes up to Nicole and says, hey, I think I've graduated from this, I'd like another challenge.
Right.